Welcome to Slasher Sunday, or maybe I should say Giallo Sunday. I know I get shit for considering Giallo slashers, but guys, I've went over this enough. In my opinion, these are basically the damn same. I don't see the big difference. Obviously, Giallos influence slashers, and sometimes slashers influence Giallos. They're very, very, very similar. This is a guy stalking women and murdering them. I mean, I don't know what else to say here. But anyways, Blood and Black Lace by Mario Bava. A film that I have not seen in a long, long time. I own most of Bava's films. I got the Kino Lorber, however the hell you say that company's name. And then the Arrow one here had to get because they really cleaned this damn thing up. They did a 2K scan, they took out every individual little mark, and then they cleaned up the audio. This Blu-ray is gorgeous for a film from 1964. Dude, this is one of the best transfers out there. So if you can get a copy, I don't know what these go for. I don't know if they still print it. They probably still do, but you never know. I've had it for a while, so I don't know. I don't know how long ago it was printed, but it is a gorgeous copy. And this is the kind of film, much like a Suspiria, that desperately is begging for a Blu-ray release, or even a 4K release or something to, really showcase how beautiful films like this are. So for me, Bava's films, especially this one, are mostly about the experience, the aesthetical experience. Whether that be the actual film as like a canvas, like the appearance of it, whether it's the rich saturated color schemes of the neon lights or whatnot, or even the music, which heightens and richens everything within the film. So the film is just style, style, style. Now, what do giallos have in common? They have the detective angle, right? It's the mystery whodunit. Now, I got in an argument with somebody, a friendly discussion, debate about that, about the difference between giallos and slashers, and he was like, "Oh well, it's that there's this kind of whodunit thing going on within these giallos that make them more unique to the genre outside of slashers. Slashers kind of have their own thing." And I'm like, dude, have you not watched like half of slashers of the 80s? They're all fucking whodunits. Are you kidding me? Like, that's not a good enough argument. Now you could go with the detective angle, but there's detectives in plenty of slasher movies, whether it be, Scream, everyone's fucking favorite that I, obviously don't like, or even going back to Pieces. But regardless, the argument for me is just silly. So I'm over it. You can disagree with me all you want. But yeah, so really, the thing that I want to just kind of focus on the most here is just how unbelievably gorgeous this film looks. Like, these films have such style. They're just so fucking gorgeous to look at. And that's like something I feel like a lot of films today are lacking. Not that there isn't gorgeous films out there. And there definitely, definitely is. There's filmmakers that still create fantastic looking films. But I think that's what I respect so much about Italian horror cinema. I can't honestly speak to the effect of like much other Italian cinema outside of the horror genre in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So I don't know if this is just kind of an aesthetical choice. across the board in the country, but I know that between Bava and Argento and whatnot, that, man, do these films just pop. I love the neon colors. I love the rich, saturated color scheme of these films. I just can't get enough of them. I think they're great. That all being said, outside of that, and that's a good thing, and I think that on a first viewing for someone like me, this is just such a gorgeous looking film that I can kind of immerse myself in that, and I can see the appeal on multiple watchers for people who just really like that kind of stuff. The whole mystery whodunit, the whole plot of the film is drawn out and not super interesting to me. I don't hate it, but I don't know. I think this is a disconnect because of how old the film is. Older films just have a different feel to them. The grandness of them has lost its impact, so to speak. So what I think was shocking and grandiose back then, it's just in comparison to what I watch even in the 80s. It just doesn't hold up, and so it can be kind of a chore because it just doesn't feel all that shocking or impressive in the storytelling or the mystery or the reveals or any of that stuff. And this is a pretty basic concept here. You got this guy who's killing this girl, Isabella, in the beginning because she has found out about the murder of this woman's husband, so her and her lover can get married, and she is going to blackmail them, so they kill her, and then her diary gets out there, and then they start killing people who maybe saw the diary or took the diary or whatever. And then, they all get rounded up, all the men, because of course it has to be a man, right? And then his lover goes out there. And so we get a 2-killer movie here. I had said in my Scream review, I didn't know how many 2-killer movies there were in the horror genre for the slasher genre, should I say. And Blood and Black Lace, 1964. Can you give me an earlier example of a film that's like a whodunit murder mystery kind of horror thing that there was 2 killers? It probably exists, I just don't know of it. That's a pretty damn early one. It's a pretty damn early representation of that idea. So definitely a pretty original idea for the time. And yeah, it kind of surprises us because we think, oh, well, the killer is killing again, and everyone's locked up that we thought it might be. So, and then they let him go because they have an ironclad alibi, which makes sense. And so, yeah, they go out there she goes and she kills while one of them is locked up, proving that he must be innocent, or all of them must be innocent. One of them, of course, is not innocent. And in the end, this guy's just a prick who's trying to inherit her riches. They went and did this secretly, but then he's going to inherit all of her stuff when she dies. I just don't see that being kept all that secret. And why can't they just wait to get married until a little bit after his death? Then they wouldn't have to be married in secret. And they also, the detectives in this, they think, the investigators, they think that this is some sex maniac, right? And so our male killer here convinces his girlfriend they need to kill one more time. So she goes and she takes out this girl who you can see her nipples and her bush from her vagina through her white undergarments, which has got to be pretty fucking racy for 1964. I mean, that's crazy to think that. Now this is Italy, right? So this is a little different, but in America, 4 years prior, Psycho was the first film to feature a flushing toilet, a working toilet, because it was thought of to be so taboo and just distasteful and all this. And here, 4 years later, over in Italy, they're showing chicks' nipples and bush through their underwear. Obviously, I think this has to do with Italy, but this also has to do with, Mario Bava pushing the envelope. And Bava, I remember reading quotes that Bava had said that Alfred Hitchcock was an inspiration of his, which would make sense. So I think Psycho very much influenced this, no doubt, for me anyway. And he just, tried to take it to that next level. What we saw in Psycho was very envelope pushing at the time. And then this one had to up the ante. Now it did it in a different country, and a lot of Americans wouldn't have saw it, but, he's just doing what he thinks is a go here. But yeah, this guy's anyway. He makes this girl kill her friend, the nipples and bush girl, and then she makes her look like she slit her wrist, but isn't she killing her to make it seem like the killer is completing his work? Like, they're going out and they're doing another kill to keep with appearances of the killer being out there and this and that. Like, why make it look like she's killing herself? Because she doesn't have the heart for it, and she's not in it at all. She doesn't want to do it. She talks about how horrible it was killing. Maybe I misunderstood this scene where she kills the girl, but he's like, oh, we need to do it one more time. And that's her doing that one last time, because then she's about to get caught, or so she thinks, and it's just her husband setting her up, and he sabotages the, gutter or whatever the hell she's climbing across, the drain line, whatever. And so she goes out there and she falls to her death, technically, because then, at the end of this movie, she does die from her injuries. But she comes back in, and this dude's stealing all of her shit. And she's like, really, Dick? Really? I'm like, really? You couldn't have just, robbed me? You're just going in there and taking her shit. Aren't they married? Wouldn't he get it in her death anyway? It's I don't know. He can't wait. I don't understand. But these kinds of movies, I'm not sure it's all supposed to make sense. Now, the killings, there is some, there's one really mean-spirited one here. The girl who burns the diary. He takes her hand and he puts it on the furnace, and then he takes her face and he pushes it against the furnace. Now, how long would it take for you to die from having your face pushed against a furnace? I mean, you get burnt, and it would burn your eyes out, and it would really fuck you up. But it would take a long time for it to kill you, I would think, right? Or maybe if it's getting so hot, it's boiling your brain inside your head, or I don't know. How long would it take for your face to be pushed into a furnace that's glowing, and for it to kill you? Quick? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. I have no fucking clue. I just don't feel like that's something that would kill you all that fast. But in these kinds of movies, everyone dies so fast. When somebody gets smothered, like somebody does in this movie, they're dead in 5 seconds. Nobody can hold their breath. And then, of course, they take the pillow away as soon as they've killed them. And it's dude, they just passed out. You got to hold them for a couple more minutes after they've been, knocked out for them to not wake back up. So, in case you're killing anybody, you got to hold them a little longer. Personal experience, and you actually get to see the killer kind of clean up the crime scene a little bit. Not too much. Not really sure why he moves a bunch of stuff when the body, body's found anyways really quickly thereafter, and he takes her car, and that dude, maybe he's coming back because it was that gas station dude that narked on him. and then gave away the license plate and description and all that. So maybe that makes sense. Although, yeah, they can. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Hmm. Whatever. Anyway, it's funny, in the opening of this, I thought this was a total whorehouse, and not like a fashion whatever business. And I thought that guy outside who was looking for his drugs, who I was like, what the fuck is this guy? And then we find out he's like epileptic or something. I don't understand. Like, he's getting his drugs from this place. Like, am I getting people confused here? Like, everyone was kind of blending together for me. But didn't that guy who came there, like, looking for drugs in the beginning, it was like epileptic seizure medication? Like, why didn't he have a pharmacy? Like, I don't know. There's people, he's pill popping, but it's his epileptic seizure medicine, no? And then, like, that other girl who goes to buy cocaine, but it's for her and this other dude who, like, comes over and is, like, telling this girl he's in love with her, but she's, like, wanting to have nothing to do with him. So I was kind of all confused by that stuff. But whatever. Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the kills in this, like, they got the little pronged freaking, like, thing that the guy uses to smash into her face. Obviously there's, like, no gore shown in this film at all. But that is kind of interesting because he made A Bay of Blood, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve, in 1971? Isn't that when that came out? So that was 7 years later. And that thing's got some pretty decent gore into it. So pretty quickly thereafter, he got it through. But in 64, I mean, 64 is definitely much different than 71 for as far as gore and that would go, especially with, well, 71. And that would have been, I mean, that would have probably been what's pushed the genre forward in that country. Because I'm thinking about, like, Argento and Fulci and all these guys who were making films around that time. But they were, I mean, all those films, like, even Argento's earliest stuff, I want to say his first film is what, 70, let's see, 73? I want to say, like, Deep Red is like 75, and then, like, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. It's like, those are like 73, I want to say. Shit. And then Fulci's like Woman in Lizard Skin and all that stuff. So yeah, I want to say Bava is really like the main influencer of Italian horror. I mean, he's the godfather of all of this shit. I mean, I know that's what he's known as, but I'm really just trying to think of like the time period of when all this stuff came out. And I know no Fulci or any of these guys are making films in the 60s. So this is really just kind of the blueprint here. Like Psycho kind of set it up, Blood and Black Lace, Bay of Blood. These were the films that really pushed this genre forward. So whether or not you think this is a slasher film, it heavily inspired the slasher genre. So for me to not talk about it on Slasher Sunday seems wrong to me. Like, this very much feels like such a huge, important thing to talk about when it comes to slasher films. This is, even though I do find this film to be a tad boring at times, I see what influences it's had. I see, and also I see how beautiful it is. So I like it, but I'm not like rushing back to watch it. That's for sure. And can we just stop it with the whole like dead bodies stand up when a killer puts them like in the corner? Like they just like prop them up in the corner and they just stand up and like, can we stop doing this? This is not a thing. This is not a fucking thing. From personal experience, okay? Dead bodies don't land. People are really gonna start taking me seriously eventually. Good. You should. Save the next girl's life. The gunshot at the end is like gotta be one of the longest who got shot scenes I've ever seen. Now, I've said this in many reviews, I feel, because I feel like this is one of the most overly used tropes in film. Is like two people are wrestling over a gun, the gun goes off, they both gasp, and then who got shot, who got shot, who got shot? And then one of them eventually falls away. And you're like, oh, they did. This might be the longest one I've ever seen. I mean, it lingers for fucking ever, man. It's like, I'll probably exaggerate here. It's probably only like 7 seconds in reality, but it felt like 30. It felt like in eternity. But that being said, it still built it pretty well. I felt like I was like, who is it? Who is that? I couldn't remember. I've only seen this movie once. So it's been a long time. So I was like, it's got to be him. And then she like kind of was moving. I was like, oh, was it her? Oh shit, he gets away with it. I'm like, I don't remember. But nope. She kills the guy and then calls the police and then falls dead on his body. And Finn, with an E on the end of it, isn't? I don't know. I guess that's French with the Fin, and then Fine is Italian. I don't fucking know. But yeah, man, that's such a dramatic ending for a film like this. It's exactly what you expect. And yet again, just like all these old films, credits, man, just credits. Like, shit happens, people fall over each other dramatically, Romeo and Juliet style, and then just credits. Like, no after sequences, no prolonging things, just done and gone. But yeah, so, the kills are all not great, but they do feel still fairly visceral at times, like for the time period. Like the opening kill on Isabella, like you can tell there's a lot of anger there. Like, this is personal, and this killer does like to torment his victims, And then the later kills, when it's the woman, you can tell she's not interested in this at all. She's just doing it because she thinks she has to for the man she loves. So there is a pretty good difference between the killers. It doesn't seem to be a physical appearance difference, but it is what it is. And as far as the look of the killer, the trench coat, the black hat, the mask, this of course is Giallo 101. This is the black gloves. This is what we see. But I love it. I think it's great. It reminds me of like Darkman or something. Like it's a great look. I love the that like morph suit he's wearing under there. It's very very cool. What the visibility would be in an outfit like that, I have no idea, but probably wouldn't be great. But it'd be better than the visibility you'd have when you were dead. So I'll definitely take the killer's perspective over the ladies in this. And yeah, I mean, hell hath no fury, man. Don't betray a woman, especially in love. She will shoot your ass to death and just die on top of your body. She doesn't care. So be careful who you're fucking with. So yeah, Blood and Black Lace. What's your favorite Mario Bava film? Let me know, and hopefully I can cover his entire filmography at some point. I own most of them. I think he only made like 14 films or something. He didn't make a ton, and I own a lot of them. I'm not sure. I think like, what is it, like Eric the Conqueror, and like he made like a Western too. I have like Planet of the Vampires, and I have some other ones as well. But yeah, Kill Baby Kill, Baron Blood, Evil Eye, Lisa and the Devil, The Dolls for an August Moon, Five Dolls for an August Moon, Black Sabbath, Black Sunday, A Bay of Blood, Hatchet for the Honeymoon. Hatchet for the Honeymoon. There's another one that's a very possible slasher Sunday. Hopeful. So I'm going to try to remember that. And then I have like Planet of the Vampires, and I have another one as well. I think it's his Western. Yeah. Ray Colt Winchester Colt, Ray Colt, something like that. What the fuck is that movie called? I have it. Yeah, Roy Colt and Winchester Jack. I knew it was Winchester and Colt or something. I couldn't. I never seen that one. So maybe I'll run through his filmography at some point. But we'll see. Anyways, adios.